Welcome to Holly's Scoop. I'm Stephanie Bauer. Preacher's kid Katy Perry doesn't believe in heaven or hell. This may not make her father too happy. The 29-year-old star grew up in a deeply Christian household with evangelist preacher parents, but Katy admits she no longer identifies with a single religion, whether it's the one her parents practice or not. Quote, "I don't believe in heaven or hell or an old man sitting on a throne. I believe in a higher power bigger than me because that keeps me accountable. I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Hindu, I'm not Christian, but I still feel like I have a deep connection with God. I pray all the time." Katy also tells the new issue of Marie Claire magazine, quote, "People don't understand that I have a great relationship with my parents. Like, how can that exist? There isn't any judgment. They don't necessarily agree with everything I do, but I don't necessarily agree with everything they do." Katy says her parents are at peace and they pray for her. For more from Katy's interview, check out hollyscoop.com.
The young woman who came from a religious upbringing to become one of the most famous singers in the world. This is Katy Perry.
So keep calm, honey, I'ma stick around for more than a minute. Get used to it. Funny, my name keeps coming at your mouth, 'cause I stay winning, name up like swish, swish.
I have been in therapy for 5 years, and
Sit back, relax.
okay. Well, it's changed joy and hope and happiness and dancing and singing, and you know, I guess that would be me being a child. So that is
Catherine
Catherine.
growing up as a child. I know nothing about your childhood.
Catherine growing up. Well, I love my parents.
Yes.
And I grew up with a lot of born-again Christian beliefs. And so I had people around me, like-minded people like that. And I would say that it was a bit of a bubble, although I don't regret or think. Loved learning, even in church. But like, you know, and my mom and we have such a great relationship, and like, I used to sing this song in church called "Come As You Are" by Crystal Lewis, who I love.
Yeah.
Crystal Lewis. And like, I feel like sometimes, like, the church does more judging than loving.
Okay.
And that's why it doesn't feel safe for me sometimes.
Okay.
And like, if I was to come as I am, how would I be accepted? Because this is who I am, you know? Or this is who I'm developing into, so.
You know, you had to adapt to your environment, and you had an instinctual truth.
Yeah, it was something I didn't learn. It was
Yeah.
so weird. It's like it
Yeah.
came from nowhere.
And that caused a spiritual alienation that you had to go against your own calling of your own individual soul.
But I loved all of it, but I always just felt like I was called for more.
Call for more?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was out there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to get it. And so I guess I started singing. That's how I got there.
We sometimes are obliged to let go of old ways of doing things to have a larger life. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
That became Katy.
Yeah.
But Catherine is still carrying some,
Well, it's not gonna happen.
you call the word for me. What
I
are
guess
the
it's-
feelings?
I guess it's not gonna happen in one day, right?
No.
It's gonna be a process, and that's why
That's what therapy is, a process.
it's no destination.
You're processing.
No, I'm just like, I guess that, like,
It's okay, Catherine.
I guess that, like, you know, I'm really strong as Katy Perry. Then sometimes I'm not as strong as Catherine Hudson, and like,
And Catherine doesn't have to be strong.
you know, know, people like talk about my hair, right? And they don't like it, or they wish that like it was longer. And like, I so badly want to be Catherine Hudson that I don't even want to look like Katy Perry anymore sometimes.
Okay.
And like, that is a little bit of... I guess that like,
It's okay, Catherine.
I was someone who became anxious for a relatively short period of time, who went to get some help, and whose life was totally shattered by the experience.
His father was one of the more than 50 patients treated here at the Allen Memorial Institute under a secret program designed to develop brainwashing techniques. The Allen has an international reputation as a renowned psychiatric institution. But in the late 50s, the patients knew nothing of a cascade of mind control experiments underway, including sensory deprivation and worse.
He went in one winter evening and was put to sleep for approximately 2 months. He was given shock treatments of various kinds, gradually building intensity to an intensity and a frequency that was not certainly the routine or standard of the time.
Electroshock is a standard but controversial treatment for extreme depression. However, at the Allen, the shocks were administered not 2 or 3 times a week, but 3 or 4 times a day for weeks on end. Patients were reduced to vegetables. It was called depatterning. And on top of that, the patients were given dangerous experimental drugs.
He was given a whole slew of drugs, including amphetamines, likely PCP, insulin comas, barbiturates of all kinds, LSD. He was then forced to listen to recorded messages.
It was called psychic driving. Once the patients were drugged and shocked to break down their minds, they were bombarded with taped messages for up to 16 hours a day. This is how one patient remembers it.
At the end of the time, my father was someone who was unrecognizable to me or to anyone else in the family or his friends.
Catherine comes out and plays when I'm with my sister and my family. But when I can just rest and relax and kind of like fall and surrender, that's when Catherine gets to come out, because sometimes, you know, I built up this Katy Perry thing that everybody knows and is fantastic, but it's more of a facade than it is
the
a
one
real.
that really elevates others and inspires and actually goes into the unconscious and makes things come forth that is there that others don't have the courage to bring forth into the light. Catherine is the self, and Katy, we're going to give her some attention today,
Sure.
is the priestess and actually a goddess.
Thank you.
And
Worked hard on that one.
yeah, and so
Worked hard on that one. And I think
yeah.
everyone wants to be seen and heard. Like, people don't want to be seen and heard just because of the pictures they post on Instagram or the filters that they pick. Like, that's not the head that lays down on the pillow. You know? Like, that's not the head that lays down on the pillow next to your partner. You don't get a filter. That's just real, true intimacy. And I think sometimes, like, we hide so behind, like, all these things, like Instagram or, you know, and I do the same thing. I create this character, but, like, it makes it so much harder to be real and intimate with people.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, of
Because like
course.
they meet you for the first time, and if they've been following you or in any circumstance, even your friend that you just meet for the first time, and you see their Instagram, they're like a totally different person. Like, who are people? Who are
Yes,
they?
in the world that may not have been in sync with who Catherine really was, because she was curious. Am I making any sense to you?
Curious as a cat.
What did some of that curiosity lead you to that was not permitted, or that you wanted to investigate?
You know, I wanted to like work on my purpose, work on my craft, so that I could travel the world and like have these experiences, meet these people, like re-educate my mind. And that is partially why I started singing, is, you know, to pop my own bubble, to get out of my own situation.
Curious as a cat.
Everyone last night, that like I just learned how to hug,
Oh, wow.
because I was like, I always thought it was like, you know,
Too intimate.
too intimate, like a sexual thing.
Yeah, of course.
Or, you know,
Yes.
like a hug is a sexual thing.
That's
Someone's
right.
gonna feel my boobs or something
Yes.
like that. And I didn't realize that that's not everybody's intention.
Yes. Yes.
It's just
yes.
a hug. It's just to
Yeah.
like connect. My purpose, work on my craft, so that I could travel. I've had a dance with the devil.
Okay.
Father is on tour of churches throughout the country with one simple message, reportedly. Katy Perry is the devil. In a strange twist of sermons, he's telling people to pray for Katy. He says, I was at a concert of Katy's where there were 20,000. They were there going at it. It looked almost like church. They're worshiping the wrong thing. Why would you have a problem with people worshiping your daughter? I like Katy Perry. She's a good singer. She can draw a crowd of people.
He said, people ask me how I can preach when I raised a daughter who kissed a girl.
Now, is it that she kissed the girl or is it that she liked it?
What would you say Catherine is right now? 'Cause
11.
she's 11.
Yeah.
She's 11.
Because I started singing when I was 9.
So Catherine is 11. So that means with relationships, she probably didn't get a chance to develop the art and science of dating, and
Not yet.
no.
But I mean, I've had some good ones, and like,
yeah.
you know, I love them all in a certain way, and they've taught me so many things. And maybe I'm a little older because like at 11 I'd be like, nah, 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 nah.
Yeah.
And now with relationships, even if they don't hit whatever figurative finish line you're supposed to hit, I think that they all teach me something.
So
you know,
you may be 16 because you've been dating.
I've been dating,
You've been
yeah.
dating.
But like, you know, I haven't found the person or figured out how to have, you know, a child. On my dress, there's a lot of butterflies. Probably because I will evolve from a moth to a butterfly at some point in this music video. There's a lot of symbolism. You gotta just kind of catch it. We're trying to put a lot of subliminal things in there too. Spiritual.
Okay.
I want someone that really, like, you know, knows that like there's something more than them. It doesn't have to be, you know, any belief system. It can just be that there's something more than them. It's not just us. You know, I know, and like maybe some of it hasn't always been fair along the way.
Yeah. Talk about that not being fair. Someone that didn't get you, somebody that did not understand that Catherine is evolving and she's not where she would like to be. You don't have to
Well,
mention the name. Just
No, I know,
yeah.
but I've had a lot of really nice ones, and one of them in particular has been like a really amazing example of a man and, you know, a gentleman. I had to push pause on that because I had to grow. You know, I couldn't grow together because, like, two halves don't make a whole.
Two holes make two.
Two holes make two. And so
Okay.
I had to grow. And, you know, I'm just like, I'm really grateful for someone like him who, like, mended my wings. And, you know, holds a space for me so that I can grow and doesn't judge me, you know, even if I can judge. Sometimes I'm a
One
little
component that stood out to me that was he's got to be powerful. I mean, you said 5.
Do you ever feel you think I'm pretty without any makeup on?
But I'm human, and I'm
Yes.
living under this crazy microscope. And I made that choice, but it's not always like.
Well, let's throw the word out. There's a dichotomy. There's a real conflict between Katy and Catherine.
Sure, because look at Katy Perry, she's so glamorous.
Yes.
She's rich, she's luxurious, successful, and like Catherine Hudson, like, I didn't have any money, I didn't have any influence, I didn't have anything. Because I let it build. Sometimes I have to swallow things. And
Yes.
that's why I meditate.
Yes.
That's helped me. That's why I do yoga now.
Yes.
You know, that's helped me. And like, honestly, I'm in therapy with my family, and it's.
Did you ever have some bouts to where Katy just didn't want to go on?
Yeah, I wrote a song about it.
Okay.
That's how I process. Is I write
understand.
songs.
And you get rid of those feelings, those
Well,
uncomfortable
yeah.
feelings.
Some of them don't come out
Okay.
fully, and that's why I still do the work.
Which song was that? What lyric comes to your mind?
By the grace of God.
Can you say a few of those lyrics? They're very close to you. They're very close.
It's hard, like I sang it on tour, and it's hard because I'm ashamed.
Oh.
Because of course Katy Perry's so strong.
We're talking to Catherine. She's sitting back.
But it's hard because I feel ashamed that I would even like have those thoughts, you know? I'd feel that low or that depressed, but
Then if you didn't get them out, you could act them out. We don't want that.
no.
We don't want that. So it's good that you got them out.
Yeah, and I wrote that song by the grace of God because, you know, I do believe in something much bigger than me, and I call that God for me. And, you know, I get to live this wonderful life, and I work very hard at it.
Yes, you do.
And I've been given this gift, but I know that like God has his hand on me, and I know that sometimes I go through things and I think they're just too intense, I can't handle them, and then he swoops in and he shows me that it's his grace. Wow. That brings me through it.
It's okay. Let it go. It's just Catherine here. Catherine does not have to be strong. Your God is real for you.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Okay. So does God judge us? He lets us live, or he, she, whatever, lets us live
gives
and
us
make our
free will.
mistakes and And we still live. We still have a chance.
I mean, yes, I believe in, the cause of law and effect.
Okay.
So I know that every action has a reaction.
Okay, I agree.
And I believe in positive and negative and yin and yang and all those things.
Yes.
So I don't think that you can say I'm a good person and go out and do the opposite and it breed good things.
Okay.
So I understand that, and that's kind of my philosophy, is just living by cause and effect.
I think that's absolutely correct. I don't think there's a right or wrong, because... So how do you know these days when the choice is going to bring the consequences that you want? Where do you go? Is it here? Is it here? Is it your staff? Is it your therapist?
It's a combination.
Okay.
It's a combination, but I try and go here. Because the head will just
Tell me about it.
it'll try and overthink the whole thing, and the heart will just say, wait, patience, save his draft. Let the universe take care of it. It's not your job. Revenge is it
Why
takes
do you
time.
say that?
Well, the head is all about time. Do you know? The head is all about time. It's you gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. It's all about strategy.
Oh.
But the heart is sometimes.
I don't feel it.
Sometimes it's this strategy is strange, and it's giving me a yellow light. It's making my heart turn yellow.
And what do you do with those situations?
I gotta listen to them.
And you go against your heart and go into your head.
Sometimes I do. And sometimes my ego comes into play, which is my head.
That's called taking care of your mental health. And I haven't shaved my head yet.
In 2011, pop star Katy Perry collapsed during a concert while performing her hit song, I Kissed a Girl. Many reasons were cited and many conclusions were drawn. Theories range from stress to MK Ultra breakdown. Let's take a look at the footage of Katy Perry collapsing on stage right now. One of the many popular theories is Katy Perry was going through an MK Ultra mental breakdown. Let's read part of an article discussing it right now. Katy Perry collapses as Illuminati mind control breakdown goes viral. Footage has emerged of Katy Perry collapsing and being dragged off stage after an incoherent rant. As insiders warn, she is set to be the latest Illuminati-controlled celebrity to suffer a public meltdown. During a live performance of her early hit, I Kissed a Girl, Katy Perry's eyes rolled back into her head and she began making strange guttural grunting noises before she collapsed and was dragged off stage by a member of her security team. A different video released this week also went viral on social media after the pop star revealed signs of typical monarch mind control split personality, explaining that she cut off her hair so she doesn't look like Katy Perry anymore. During the interview, Perry, whose real name is Katherine Hudson, breaks down in tears while describing the internal conflict between her, Katy Perry, and Katherine Hudson personas. Katy Perry is the ideal of the modern pop star, young, beautiful, controversial, and completely controlled by the music industry Illuminati. So it's no surprise that her music and videos are completely infused with Illuminati symbology. Perry made public overtures to the Illuminati in 2014, flaunting herself and begging to join the secret society. Listen, she said to Rolling Stone, if the Illuminati exists, I want to be invited. I see all that shit, and I'm like, come on, let me in. I want to be in the club. Fast forward 3 years, and Katy Perry is basically Illuminati Play-Doh. She has been at the forefront of the elite's agenda for years now, and has completed the transition of her soul to the industry. Other stars who have suffered similar side effects in recent years include Amanda Bynes, Britney Spears, who suffered a huge breakdown in 2007, also cutting off her hair, and Kanye West, who claims to have had his mind erased after declaring support for Donald Trump. According to Vice, monarch mind control, an Illuminati practice widely used by the Walt Disney Corporation and Teen Nick to monetize and sexualize younger starlets. Supposedly developed in its current form by the CIA to subdue American citizens, monarch mind control is being used by the Hollywood industrial complex to micromanage child stars. The monarch mind control victims are called kittens, and the executives and managers that control them are known as handlers. The handlers take a precocious kitten, such as in All That era Amanda Bynes, and subject her to mental and sexual abuse until her personality fractures and separates like a horcrux, making her unquestioning and compliant. The handlers then conclude the abuse with the Weird Adam Family Values summer camp punishment, where the kittens watch The Wizard of Oz over and over again until submitting to their handler gives her true happiness. After she turns 18, the handlers repeat these steps to transform her from a manageable performer into a highly profitable object of fantasy. Usually and rather shockingly, this goes off without a hitch, but in some cases the young performer can't stand the confusing transition from tween star to men's magazine cover girl and starts to malfunction like the robot she has essentially become.
End of our sessions, and
Okay.
you are acquainted with the angel cards, and you live in that arena anyway.
Thank you.
As a goddess.
Angels are all around you.
Thank you very much. So let's see what the angels are going to tell you.
So, angels, what shall I learn now? Freedom.
Oh, wow. Isn't that appropriate? Freedom to be who
So
you
you gotta check out this clip of Katy's witchy Dark Horse performance right now. As I predicted, Katy performed her new single Dark Horse at the 56th Annual Grammy Awards tonight. She started her spooky performance in a human-sized globe as an evil witch. A dark, enchanted forest surrounded her with scary hooded backup dancers on swinging around up in the air. Katy eventually emerged from her globe, and we see the detail of her purple cape. But not for long, my friends. No, she ripped that bad boy off, and we get a red light-up cross on her chest. The witchcraft continued when the song lyrics sing levitate, and she actually levitated in the air. But kind of reminds us of Nicki Minaj's Roman Holiday performance back in the day. The rest of Katy's performance is filled with bouncy dance choreography, Juicy J stepping in for his rap verse in the track, and an actual dark horse. Yup, a black human horse appeared on stage to complete the fairy tale set. Katy finishes with a sexy dance on a large broomstick pole and a huge fiery ending.
There's a labyrinth of choices. And we make choices, and those choices will have consequences.